All right. Hello, everyone. And again, happy Women's History Month. Uh, my name is Vonne Reed, CEO and founder of Vesterr, co-founder of, well, not co-founder, I am the founder of the Vonne Group, ownership firm, consulting firm, and co-owner of 3 hotels. Well, it's about to be 2 because we selling. In a minute, it's gonna be 3 because we're selling all of them. But so I'm gonna hold on to that tagline as long as I can. But thank you so much for tuning into our Women Real Estate and Finance webinar series. Last night, we had Dr. Nicole Garner-Scott from Northwestern Mutual. She's a licensed financial advisor. She talked about different wealth building strategies and financial strategies, for women from a woman's perspective. So it was really good. And I really hope that people learned a lot and took some notes. And so tonight, all right, come on, computer. There we go. Tonight, we are talking about crowdfunding and basically funding her future through crowdfunding. So we have 2 women funders from Vesterr. Amina is our first official funder. She's our first successful raise on Vesterr. So Dr. Amina James. And then we have Dr. Brooks Dunbar, or Dr. V. She has an upcoming deal coming up. Super excited. Can't wait for her to share more about it. Potential co-working space in Jacksonville, Florida. So shout out to all my Duval folks in the house who's representing, because I know y'all don't play about that Duval. So it's this place down there that has the, what is it? Yeah, I forgot it. Y'all seen? I forgot the name of it. It's like my favorite crab leg place. So the next time I come visit you, Dr. V, I'm going to get some of my crab legs. Anyway, so I'm gonna pass the baton to Dr. V, so that way she can share her screen, because she has a icebreaker for us.
Yes, thank you, Devon. I still don't have screen share. Oops, now I do. So I thought it would be great, since today is Equal Pay Day, and we're still, not equal to what men make, for every dollar. I think as an average, women make 83 cents to the dollar. So in recognition of that, and also Women's History Month, of course, and our current environment, just looking at the big picture of the opportunities that are out there for women. So I've been producing this series called Lost Fortunes, Black women moguls before the civil rights movement, because people are trying to take us back. So I said, okay, fine, that's fine, we can do this. And I've been researching and publishing on LinkedIn articles about these amazing women. And so the test today, before we start, is how many of these women do you recognize? And so I'm going to go through them very quickly with just the pictures. And then I want everyone to put in, after I get to, there's 10, how many do you recognize? And whoever recognizes the most, then I'm going to have you talk us through the ones you know, and then I'll fill in the gaps for the other ones. But I'm going to go quick because their names are in there, and I want you to kind of not be able to read. So the first one, do you know her? Do you know this amazing lady from San Francisco? Do you know this amazing lady from, I believe, Baltimore? So whoever's from Baltimore. Do you know this amazing lady from the DMV? Do you know this amazing lady? Well, actually, this is her mom, but from Oklahoma. This amazing lady from Atlantic City, who owned a hotel, resort, and golf course. Do you know, everybody knows this fabulous self-made millionaire. Most of you may know this self-made millionaire because she influenced the previous lady. Not many people know this fabulous lady in the food industry. And many of us should know this amazing woman in the publishing, fashion, and makeup, cosmetics industry. All right, so put in the chat. Let's see here. Where's the chat? Where's the chat? Where's the chat? Here's my chat. Okay, so everybody put in the chat. How many do you recognize? 2? So far, 1. I'm hoping we get at least 5. Someone who knows 5. 2. We have 4. Trudy, you're winning. Trudy's winning. Trudy, I think you're the winner. So Trudy, if you can come on camera and tell us which ones you recognize. And I have the slides here on the left, so you can just pick the slide number.
Okay, I'm unable to come on camera, but
Okay.
I think the first one was it Josephine Baker?
Yes.
Number 2.
Josephine Baker, expatriate, moved to France, musician.
Let me get it right. Madam C.J. Walker was one of them.
Yes, Madam C.J. Walker.
Oh shoot,
Here.
Eunice Johnson.
Eunice Johnson, right here.
And Maggie Lena Walker.
Yes, the banker.
And I think she's from Richmond though.
Is it Richmond? Richmond, you're right. Yes, you're right, Richmond. So these women, every single one of them were millionaires 10 times over. The average net worth of all of them during the height of their wealth was about $7 to $8 million in today's currency. Josephine Baker, of course, was the entertainer. She's the only entertainer on this slide. But what I wanted to show is that these women come from all industries, all sectors, and they all created their wealth before the passing of the Civil Rights Bill. So they went through some stuff to get their money. The wealthiest of them all is this lady, that's Mary Ellen Pleasant. I'm sorry, they put the wrong, my graphics team put the wrong name there. This is Mary Ellen Pleasant from San Francisco. She owned hotels. Quite a few of them owned hotels and real estate, significant real estate. But she made her money during the gold rush in San Francisco and owned a lot of stocks. She invested her money in the John Brown raid. So if you remember John Brown in the raid, she was giving money to abolitionists and funded his raid. So she was amazing in San Francisco. Of course, we know Maggie Walker, the banker who started the first Black female-owned bank in Richmond. She was responsible for lending and helping 600 first-time homeowners in Richmond to mortgage their first home. This lady here, Elizabeth Keckley, was a fashion designer. So I call her the first Black woman to have her own fashion house. She fashioned President Lincoln's wife and all of the elite women of DC during that time. This young lady was the one who won her money during the oil rush in Oklahoma. So Sarah Rector was the little girl. You'll see a lot of pictures of her saying how, she was given this barren land and they struck oil on the barren land. And she became one of the richest little girls at 11 years old in the country. She was generating about, I think, $300,000 a week in oil royalties. Now, the problem with that is that she died in 1967. And so the flip side is a lot of them lost their wealth. But she was driving around with a chauffeured Rolls Royce before she died. That's how much money she had. This lady here, I was surprised. I did not know her at all. So this is one of the few I did not know. But she's the one that owned the hotel, golf resort, 9-hole golf resort that is still in Atlantic City. She has her face on a mural in Atlantic City at MLK, and I forget the intersection. But tremendous wealth from Apex Hair, her Apex Hair Care business. So 3 of them were in the hair care business. And of course, we have Madam C.J. Walker, Annie Turnbow Malone, who also trained Madam C.J. Walker. And then we have Lucille Bishop Smith, who was the first one to commercialize biscuits, like baking biscuits and baked goods. Stores were buying her baked goods, I can't remember, 200 or something quantities every single week to help her to build her empire. And of course, we have Eunice Johnson, Fashion Fair Cosmetics, Jet, Ebony, all of that good stuff. So thank you for indulging me. I really appreciate it. These women are women that we should all know and recognize. And I'm just so excited to be able to kind of start this series and celebrate the accomplishments that we have and the wealth that we've generated with little to no resources to show and prove that we can absolutely do it again no matter what. So thank you all again for indulging me.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. I learned something. Well, I've been following the series, so I'm actually about to put the link in the chat. In the meantime, while I'm doing that, can we go ahead and introduce yourself? So, Dr. Amina, since you started off with the icebreaker, Dr. Amina, can you introduce yourself and let the world know who you are?
Hi, everyone. I'm Amina James. I think I know probably about half the people on this call already. Some of them, I see some of our investors on here. So greetings. And if I don't know you, looking forward to getting to know you. So by trade, I work in organization development. So I currently am a federal government employee during the day. And I work in employee engagement and employee experience. And also during the day, I'm a mom to a very busy 18-month-old named Joshua. And then for my 5 to 9 and every other time of the day, week, year, I'm a hotel owner. So my husband and I, we invested in our first hotels in 2019, no, 2020. Well, we invested in our first successful hotel in 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with Vonne. And then in 2021, we invested in a Hampton Inn in Georgia. And then in 2022, oh man, the years are flying. We bought a Quality Inn in Memphis, Tennessee. So we're still there. And then this past July 24, we purchased a 120 room Holiday Inn in Lake Charles, Louisiana to convert it to a Wyndham. So it's currently undergoing renovation. It's still open and operating. In 2025, we're chilling. And I'll see y'all again in 2026.
Oh, that's when we're doing it, 2026. Okay.
Yeah, I was just about to say, me and Vonne have something for you in 2026.
Hey, she's the boss, so
Early 2026.
that's
Awesome.
good.
So yeah.
That
So
works.
yeah. I think that's basically, I'm sure I left a whole bunch of stuff out, but that's basically me in a nutshell. If you haven't seen the Lodging magazine cover this month, check it out.
Do you have a copy of it? Can you show it?
Yeah. Okay, let me go get
Yeah,
it.
I'd love to
Okay,
see that.
why are you going to go get it? Dr. V, introduce you. I don't think you did an icebreaker, but you really didn't get a
Oh,
chance.
you know what? I forgot they were right here in my office. I got it right now.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Behind me.
Oh, very nice.
Wait, hold on, so I can take a screenshot. Hold on. Cheese. Hold on. Cheese. Okay, I love it.
The American Hotel Lodging Association, they do a publication usually every month or every 2 months. So I like to say I landed on the cover by accident because I was interviewed for one article by a friend of mine, and then Wyndham, they knew of another article in the same issue, and their friends at the magazine wanted quotes from me. So I gave them quotes. And then by the time it was all said and done, they were like, we're just going to put it on the cover. So yes, check it out. It's online. It's free.
Awesome. Yes, please drop the link for that. I'm working with some HBCU students I need to motivate. So I am Dr. Valicia Dunbar. So I go by Dr. V because Valicia is a mouthful. I'm here in Jacksonville, Florida, and we've been here for about 10 years, but born and raised in Florida. I have been an entrepreneur for a very long time. The time, you're right. Once you start going back on the clock, it's it takes you back. So I first started my marketing company when I was working on my master's degree at Florida International University, and then moved up to Philly. Married the military. My husband's retired Air Force, so we spent some time in the military. I worked for the federal government at that time, Amina, because you can't keep a job if you keep moving around. And so I worked with the Air Force and then the Army Medical Command, and then taught at Army Baylor University there, but fully knowing I wanted to go back to entrepreneurship. So I am a business advisor, business coach. I work with the Goldman Sachs 1 Million Black Women program, who's helping solo entrepreneurs, Black women, solo entrepreneurs specifically, to grow and scale their businesses. And that is what I'm very passionate about, is creating economic equity through entrepreneurship and focusing on women, because women are the caregivers, caretakers of the families at the end of the day. So I've been here with the Center for Confidence, my coaching company, and started out in renting out an incubator here, and then decided that before COVID, I would open up a co-working space because I realized women had a greater need for safety and community and all of those needs to help them to have the confidence that they need to grow their businesses. And during COVID, closed down and decided that instead of purchasing that building, I would invest in a part of our old historic or Black historic district, a building that came up for sale there, to open up a full, business center, co-working space. And it was so neat because part of it was the upstairs part used to be a Black-owned hotel, the Wills Hotel. So when I talked to Vonne about, raising the funding to get the build out and all of the things that we needed to get the business opened, it was coincidental that she had a crowdfunding platform focusing on hotels. And we had an opportunity to talk about the history of the New La Villa. That is the website that we just launched to support the campaign, and the opportunities to bring Black commercial spaces back to life and to build a larger community around the building, and to replicate this through the crowdfunding platform through community fundraising. So excited to be here today to talk about that.
Thank you, thank you. And I also, so Amina, I took my camera off. So Amina, she put the link to her publication in the chat, and then I put the link to Dr. V's so yeah, it was a lot of people asking questions to learn more about the stories that she's been sharing. So I put the link in the chat as well, but it's for LinkedIn. So someone just mentioned that it is not working. So it's on LinkedIn. So if you're on LinkedIn, it should work. And if you're not on LinkedIn, this is a great time for you to create an account, because everybody gets a LinkedIn account.
Yeah, so I'm posting them first to the blog, thenewlavilla.com/blog, and then sharing them on the LinkedIn platform as well for the larger community.
Share that link too. Okay, hold on.
And so the LinkedIn page is also the new LinkedIn/in the New La Villa. So
okay, wait, I'm putting that in the chat right now.
The LinkedIn page created as well.
Okay. All right, let's get going. Okay, so questions. Everybody introduce themselves. Amina, could you share how you got into commercial real estate?
Sure. So it was about, let me see, fall 2019. And my husband and I, he's also ex-military. He did 20 years in the Army. So he had just retired, and we had some rental properties in North Carolina near where he was stationed, I guess, which is Fort Bragg again. But anyway, so he was stationed there for a while. And so we had those rental properties, and we were just kind of looking to expand our portfolio, looking for different business opportunities. So we went to look at different things, gyms, bakeries, coffee shops, like all different things. And then we were walking our neighborhood one day, and I said, hey, why don't we buy a hotel? It was really, I call it divine intervention, because I had no idea that you could buy hotels. I thought they were all owned by like Hilton or Marriott or Choice or Wyndham or whoever. I didn't realize they were franchises. So we started looking into it, and we found, I just started scouring the internet to see who I could find who was young and Black. That's what I was looking for. And we ended up working with a business broker and finding an investment in 2019, but it was with someone who really didn't know the industry very well, and we ended up losing all of our money. And it was a lot of money. But we didn't want that to stop us, so we decided to jump right back on the horse. And then we found Amari Head, who kind of like welcomed, I don't know, he's kind of like the godfather or somebody. He like connected us to everybody else. And that's how I found Devon. And at the time, she was raising money. I signed up for her listserv. She was raising money for her first deal. And we invested and just went from there. I mean, there was a lot in between, that investment and now owning 2 hotels as a general partner, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
Well, I see a question. I'll make sure that we'll get Amina to answer that question. Dr. V, well, before I say before Dr. V goes, hi, Miss Darlene. Hi, Trudy. I see some folks that just jumped in.
Hi.
But Dr. V, can you let folks know how you got into commercial real estate?
Yes, it's interesting. I owned, rental properties as well. So every time I would move, I would just buy a property and would just rent it out when we moved again. And when I started working with so many entrepreneurs, I felt like I had a responsibility to be an example. So I sold one of the properties, and started to look at commercial, properties to own. And I wanted to lease first just to make sure I was doing the right thing. And so lease for a year, and that was when COVID hit and we had to close the building. But I knew at that point that I wanted to own the building. And I also knew that I didn't want to own that building. I wanted to own my own independent freestanding building. And I wanted it to focus on community and to have some history and community aspects tied into it. So started looking around, and this building that I had seen before, just like the property I have now. So I'm in my second smaller commercial property now. Things just happen. You're driving around and then you forget about these buildings, and all of a sudden you start looking again, and they're ready. And so that building was available for sale. They had just dropped the price on it, and I jumped all over it. And so that was my first commercial purchase. And now this is my second commercial purchase, the smaller, the church here that I just bought as my office building. Until that one's done, then I'll rent this one out.
This question is for you, Amina. So this actually may answer a question in the chat. So why did you choose the asset class that you're in, hotels? And then also, can you please share your journey, in your first hotel ownership? Did you take out a loan? Did you invest in other investments? What challenges did you have? And was there any pushback from the change to being owned by a woman of color?
Oh, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
So the first question was, why did I choose this asset class? I don't know. There was just something I loved about commercial real estate. I mean, at the time we didn't have any Airbnbs, but we do now, and I'm happy that we went with commercial real estate. Hotels are versatile. I was actually meeting with someone, so I'm also a franchise broker for non-hotel franchises. And so I was meeting with someone the other day to talk about what franchises they may be interested in. And they said something along the lines of, oh, I don't want to do hotels because I'm interested in like longer stays or something like that. So then I kind of broke down to her how versatile the hotel business is, like how we can get the city to pay us for to house people who need temporary housing because of domestic situations or natural disasters and things like that. So there's just a lot you can do with the hotel. They're also resilient. When we first invested in Devon's deal, a lot of people were like, why would you invest? Like COVID just hit, or it was about to, no, it had just hit. So this was the fall of 2020. Why would you do that? But hotels are actually really resilient, especially if you get like an extended stay or an economy brand. So the numbers made sense. Was our first deal the best deal ever? No, but it helped us learn a lot and get our foot in the door. So did you take out a loan? So it's buying a hotel is much like buying any other piece of real estate. Like if you go to buy a house, you need the down payment. But if your house is $1 million, unless you just got it like that, you're not going to pay the whole $1 million, right? You're going to get a loan from the bank. And it's the same with hotels. So when we invest in hotels as limited partners, meaning that we don't have any liability, we don't have to find the debt, the bank loan, we don't have to take care of the operations, we don't have to raise money. We used our savings for the first one, and then we sold one of our properties in North Carolina and used that for the second one. Now, as far as becoming a general partner, where you are responsible, when you hold all the liability, you're responsible for all the legal stuff and the funding and executing a brand agreement and all this other stuff, you do have to have a certain amount for a down payment. And that's when we start raising money from limited partners. So I just went from one side to the other. I was a limited partner, whereas Devon was raising money and my other sponsor was raising money, and I gave them my investment, to now being a GP where I'm receiving people's investments. So to make a long story short, to be a GP and hold all that liability, but also, get the most upside in the majority of cases, you do have to raise the down payment, and you do need to secure a loan. Unless, of course, you can go buy, a $5 million hotel, you just out of your pocket, but you will have to get a loan. Now, besides the money, and it's a really long story, but I'll just end with this. Besides the money that you have to get for the down payment or for the debt, for the loan, the money you have to get for the down payment that you raise, you also need money it's like startup money, like you're starting any other business. So you need money for legal, appraisals, inspections, travel, things like that. So you got to have a pocket of money. So whether you take that money out as a loan or a line of credit, whatever, you choose to do, you do need a source of funds to begin the journey. You got to put down an earnest money deposit, just like with any other piece of real estate. So for that, we used our own funds. But later, if we get into, I'm not sure which part of the series this is, but if it's the equity raising part, we can get into later how you can legally reimburse yourself. And I know there's a second part, so just really quick. Was there any pushback from the chain being owned by a woman of color? We have to be careful how we state things like that. Since I've come into this industry, I've made it very clear that I'm a Black woman, because Indian women are women of color and they own plenty of hotels. So you're not going to make it very far with brands. You have to be very specific with them. And it has worked for me incentive wise, to kind of stand up and say, okay, you have 50% of your ownership is woman of color, but how many are Black women? Because they'll try to trick you. And so you got to be really clear with them. So I won't say there was any pushback, but you definitely have to advocate for yourself to get the incentives that you deserve as truly a minority in this industry. Oh, and I'll stop there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was good. Oh, yeah, go for it, Dr. V.
Yeah, I'll add on to that, yeah, being a woman, my husband's really not interested, to the degree that I am. He's interested and he supports 100%, 1000%. But handling all of the meeting with the attorneys and showing up for all of that, I do all of that. And sometimes you feel like, yeah, you have to go in a little harder to make sure that they understand that you're serious. And so as a developer, I make sure I just own it. I'm the developer on the project and I make all the decisions on the project and I sign all the contracts on the project. And I also, when we had to secure the loan, and we had to secure a hard money loan because no one was really taking me seriously, and I really felt that way. Even though I had more than enough of the down payment ready to go, we still had to put in extra for some reason. So little things that feel like you have to do a little bit more, they do appear. But I was absolutely determined to not let anyone try to block me from getting this property and for making sure that it was an investment for the community. And then the hard money lenders, the interest rate's higher. So the deal was we had to pay them back within 1 year and then refinance it. And that's exactly what we did.
Now, Dr. V, why did you choose your asset class? Because you're more in a office space and you came in basically remodeling and in different areas. So talk about why you chose your asset class.
Yeah, that's my lane. So it's mixed use. So we will have retail. So looking for a coffee shop. I mean, if you know anybody who's into franchising coffee shops, tried to get this local NFL player who has a really nice coffee shop, but he was just so overwhelmed with trying to run his one location. So yeah, coffee shop, gift shop, and then we do have upstairs a residential unit for members because I thought it was important to keep some of the character of it. We had it historically landmarked, so no one could come in and try to take it away from us. So that asset class for me was in alignment with my wanting to work with entrepreneurs and give entrepreneurs the space where they could come and do business and meet and grow and scale. We also have a meeting space in the front upstairs as well. We're right across from the courthouse. So I thought it was important to have some opportunities there to work with the courthouse to have their meetings there.
Okay. Now,
and the new La
as far
Villa,
as
so for yeah,
oh,
I was
sorry.
gonna buy you some time. So the new La Villa, if you don't know Jacksonville, it's the historic Black community founded in 1866 by Buffalo soldiers. The Black Union soldiers occupied Jacksonville for about 2 years, and that was the area where they had their fort and stayed, Fort Hatch. And so when they started to leave or were given the option to leave, a lot of them stayed and founded that that community, the new La Villa, and I'm calling my location the new La Villa to honor that. And the city is investing at this point a lot into that area, so it's the perfect time to come back and invest in that neighborhood.
I have a Buffalo Soldier. I have a lot on this bookshelf, but I have a Buffalo Soldier up above my head. You can't see him though.
I want one.
Travel with my
Oh,
husband. And let me see if I could pull him down.
very cool.
I love Dr. B, we have a comment that says, I love the idea behind the new La Villa. My daughter is a college student in Jacksonville at Edward Waters. I love to visit. Isn't that cool?
I'd love to meet her as well. Make sure
We got
she
the
reaches
Buffalo
out.
Soldier.
Yes, make sure she reaches out to me. So we are currently in the design and permitting phase. So we're going to completely renovate that building, but she can certainly come and see and have a look at it. And there's some pictures. Do I have pictures on the site? I have pictures of the renderings, the new renderings on the site.
I love it. And it'll be coming up on Vesterr soon. So for the folks that's been
Very
asking,
soon.
what you got new coming, Davon? So Dr.
These-
B coming. Now,
These attorneys are killing me. But yes. it's coming.
compliance, I'm telling you. Now,
Oh
so
my word.
both of you all touched on how hard it is being a woman in commercial real estate. So y'all touched on that, with lending. I had some hiccups where, I was interrupted and I was just so stunned, but I wasn't in the hotel space. Not in the hotel space. I was in a different part of commercial real estate. And the gentleman interrupted me. And so my business partner, he came on and he had my bag and it was he, but the fact that he had to come on And I didn't forget that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna come back for that one. But sometimes, when this deals, you're trying to make a deal, sometimes you gotta push things to us, push things aside until you get the deal done, then you come back and raise hell. Now it says, now I have a question. It says, why do you think there's a lack of Black women in commercial real estate? This is for both of you all.
I guess I can start. I can only speak from the hospitality space. I really don't know. I mean, it's a lot to learn, but that's not specific to Black women, and we're really smart, obviously. So I can't say that that's the reason, but I think it's not really socialized, especially with hospitality. I love anything real estate. So that was probably the main thing for getting in investing in hotels. And then secondarily, I like the operations aspect, the actual hospitality aspect of it. But I just think it's not something that's really socialized among us. It's not something that we have seen a lot of as an example or as a representation. So it's not the first thing to cross our minds, which is why it's really important to have, events like this. Dr. V mentioned HBCUs. I love speaking at HBCUs because I just want people to see, more Black hotel owners, and me and my husband are in business together. So we usually go everywhere together. But if it's a women specific event, I go. Javon's face. I go.
What do we do? Now Joshy comes too. It's a whole family affair.
Oh yeah, gosh, does come. So yeah, I really can't say, but what I will say is I think that's going to change. And I think it's already changing. And it's definitely only going to pick up. We're not going to go back to a time where there's not a lot of, noticeable number of Black women in the commercial real estate space.
Dr. V,
I think I agree. I think it's just awareness, but I mean, I can feel the cost that's involved as well, and so it does require some intention over the longer term. But if you're going to, start to invest in commercial real estate, that it's a strategic decision. And when I started to look for development groups to make sure that I understood the decisions that I was making. And even in the development groups, you didn't really see a lot of us, but we were there. And so just awareness about what's out there, and also our past, really promoting and celebrating again that we've done this already. It is not new. And elevating that, I think we'll get more women involved and confident that they can do this. We there's nothing to hold us back.
Yeah, no, Samantha, you hit it. I was going to actually say that I really do think it's a lack of knowledge for us. I mean, like you said, even myself, when I started off, I just never thought you could own a hotel. I never thought that you could buy a bank. I never thought that you can. I've learned throughout my journey.
And you worked in a hotel and knew everything about hotels, and you still didn't think you could own a hotel. So imagine someone like me who has no background in hotels or hospitality. Like, why would they think that they could do it?
I mean, now I learned anything that's just about anything can be bought, right? You can, if you got the money, especially if it's real estate, anything could be literally bought and sold if it's real estate. And so, and then once you understand the fundamentals and you understand all you just need to learn is and once you learn how to structure it, you really can buy anything and you can raise capital for anything. That's why a lot of multimillionaires and billionaires, they're able to, get into different businesses and they own different asset classes, because they understand the fundamentals, right? They just get the right experts on their team, owning warehouses, starting a resort, buying an island. Like, who would have known that you can literally buy an island? And you can, so just being aware. And I think that now knowledge, and I think all three of us, safe to say that we're really big on education and educating our people, our women, you know, some of our kin folks, you know, to let them know what's going on and how they can take advantage of this billion-dollar industry. Now we have about 15 minutes left. So I want to leave some time for Q&A.
Yeah.
I know
I was going to say real
Oh,
quick,
go for
Devon,
it.
it's interesting how they kept you siloed off from that information, from the financial side of it while you were working there. And so I think that we are steered to look the other way. And so again, that awareness is so critically important that we make our own decisions around where we want to go and not where people point us to look.
Yeah, it actually, I didn't learn about hotel ownership until I got around Indians. I was a part of an organization and it was diverse. It wasn't just Black people, it was diverse. It wasn't that many Black folks, but it was an organization for under 30 professionals in the hotel industry. And there were people from corporate, there were people from, you know, just all walks of life in the hotel space. And these particular Indians, they owned and were developing hotels. Now, did they leave out that their parents gave it to them? Of course, they didn't tell me that. Later on in life, I realized, you know, their parents gave them a hotel, you know, so that's how they started off.
Nice.
But the fact that that's what opened my mind, and I'm glad that I was able to receive it and jump on it, because I easily could have taken that information and just could have been like, oh, I can't do it. You know, I don't have the money, I don't have the resources, I can't call my uncle, I can't call my daddy. Or they, you know, some people told me I couldn't even do it. So let's just start there. You know, it's like you can't do that, Davon. You need to sit down somewhere and the highest you're gonna get is a general manager and be happy, you know. But do we have any questions? I want to make sure I leave some time for leave some time for Q&A. But while we're waiting on Q&A, Dr. V, can you just share give us a little teaser about your deal that's coming up on Vesterr?
Yes, yes, yes. We are okay. So my attorney has me kind of frightened here about what to say, but yes, we are launching a crowdfunding campaign on Vesterr very soon. We are hoping within the next few weeks or within the next month to help us to complete the build out of the new La Villa. Is that safe to say? Just that part? Okay. And so we're waiting for the SEC to approve it and packages there.
Ready to, yeah. So we got some questions. Says when you decide to open a hotel, what is the price? I don't think we have enough time to answer that question, but we do have a lot of educational information on how you can get started and how you can buy a hotel. I would say that the biggest thing is you're gonna need money. Right, Amina?
Lots of money. But I say that facetiously because I mean, obviously it's possible. So, but I
Right.
you know, you just gotta be in the right mindset. And not just money, it's credit.
Being the right mind. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I have great credit, and I don't know if that itself is enough sometimes.
Oh,
Again,
no,
I
it's not.
I thought there were issues with
Oh, yeah.
things I didn't expect. Like, okay, you're supposed to have good credit, you have the money, you're ready to go. So what's the problem?
Then they come back with experience. Now they say you need
Well,
special
and liquidity and
experience.
post-closing liquidity. The post-closing liquidity, stuff like that.
I will say, Amina, I like your trajectory that you did in the hotel space, because you came in as a sponge and I mean, your way was I think a lot of people should follow that model, and a lot of people are starting to follow that model, where they're coming in and getting the education first, they invest in the hotel passively, and then they do their own thing. A lot of times people get really excited and they jump in and they spend and nothing happens. And so now you're on your second hotel. You're about to be on your third hotel in 2026. And that's only because you're taking a break. If you really wanted to do it, you could buy a hotel in 2025 if you wanted to.
I could. But I think next year I'm gonna have to join your inner circle because by the time I get to 2026, I'm gonna forget what happened. I'm such in operations and development mode right now with the renovation in Louisiana. I'm gonna have to start all over my education in 2026. I mean, definitely I see folks asking how they can invest. Dr. Reed's deal is coming up soon on Vesterr, so make sure you're signed up for the Vesterr listserv. You can catch ours in 2026 on Vesterr, and we'll be sure to.
Yeah, you just missed the Venus. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, and I'm so proud of Devon for creating this platform. I told her the story that I was like, okay, I need to raise this money, and I hope I don't have to create a platform to do it. And I was so excited that we had a young Black woman who had already done the work for us. All we needed to do was support her and to promote her work and what she's doing. And so thank you, Devon, for, just diving into this and really creating a bigger, more global opportunity for all of us to start to pull our resources together, because we're going to have to. We're going to have to.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love y'all. Thank
Should I
y'all.
tell them about the key money negotiation with a brand?
Yeah, girl, you better shoot your shot. Pop your collar.
I'm very what's the word?
Humble.
Oh,
I am too. So
who told you that? No, I'm just kidding.
I never share my stuff. You know that.
I know,
Other people
I know,
do.
She does, and I have to pump her up. I'm the hype girl for the.
Reminds used to me picking on her. So yeah, I just want to plug Wyndham. I mean, Choice is a great brand as well. We have a hotel with Choice. I want to plug Wyndham though, because they really helped us in our last deal. Our deal was it's an $11.8 million project. And so it was a large jump for us because our first project was 4.7 million. And we're like, where the heck are we going to get this money? My husband and I, Norland, we brought on 3 additional GPs. Where did we meet them? We met them investing in Devon's first deal.
Oh,
Because
am I the godmother now? Am I officially the godmother?
Awesome.
well, you were at the investment retreat posing in the photos and stuff. So you
No, I
definitely
said, am I officially the godmother? You said Omari was the godfather, so I guess I'm the
Oh
godmother.
yeah, you're the godmother, yes. Um, so anyway, so Wyndham, we were the first deal to go through their new program. So they now have a partnership with a non-traditional bank, private lender, but I don't like to lead with they're a private lender, because they also have like an economic and social impact lean or slant, I guess I should say. So their purpose of working with Wyndham was to really aid in job creation and be able to offer us terms similar to those that we would get from an SBA loan. And honestly, we had other offers from regular banks, but just the terms weren't that favorable to us. And they were willing to give us terms that are favorable even as a private lender, because they were interested in doing something for the community, getting involved in, increasing Black hotel ownership. And so the name of that lender is Lafayette Square. So they now have, from what I understand, an exclusive partnership with Wyndham. And through that, we were the first project through that. They were figuring it out while we were going through. So it was a lot of negotiation. And so we were able to secure a $9.4 million loan from them. With, let me see, it's just with the first 10 months, no, 9 months payments in kind. So we're just about to have our first cash payment, mortgage interest payment in cash out of our pocket. So it really gave us time to ramp up our hotel. So that's the lender side, that's the debt side. But with Wyndham, for those who don't know, if you're doing a conversion, like you're taking a hotel brand and converting it to a different brand, you can work with the brand to give you what's called key money, and they'll negotiate a price per room for you to get to a total. And by the time I was done with them and going back and forth with them, and our and our franchise lawyer, best lawyer in the world, Kashan Patel, By the time he was done with them, we had negotiated $990,000 in key money. And so our lawyer wrote and was like, why don't you just make it a cool million? And they didn't think that was funny. But anyway, we got about $900,000 of key money. So of course you don't get that money until your renovation's done and you pass inspection. But the great thing about key money is you can do whatever you want with it as long as you and your partners agree. So for us, it helped us secure the $9.4 million loan because even though we don't have the money yet, they knew that it would come from Wyndham, and we were able to kind of put some of that, not even all of it, some of that up for collateral to say, here, we also have this safety net of like $600K if things were to go south. So I just want to plug Wyndham once again. If you have any questions about Wyndham, feel free
So
to.
Wyndham is an
forgot to
ally.
mention-
We need
Wyndham, well, yeah, Wyndham
to support Wyndham.
Oh, yeah, yeah. for
Wyndham
Black
has
people.
two. I'm glad you said that, Dr. V. Wyndham has two programs, Women on the Room and BOLD. So
Mhm.
BOLD stands for Black
Owners,
Business
lodging
Lodging Developers. And I stick with BOLD a lot because again, like when they first started their Women on the Room campaign and advertising and all that, they had a whole bunch of Indian women. Love them, love my Indian sisters, but they had a whole bunch of Indian women, in their campaigns. So I just couldn't relate. I'm like, yes, I'm a woman, but I'm not relating to this like form of empowerment because I'm not seeing anyone who looks like me or my sisters. So I stick with BOLD, but yeah, and you can't double dip. So whatever incentives you get them for either BOLD or either Women on the Room, as far as like cash incentives. But you can, of course, go to both programs. Like if Women on the Room is having an educational seminar, you can go to that. If BOLD is having one, you can go to that. They just won't give you double because you're Black and a woman or anything like that. Darn. But anyway.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, when I sent out the
Awesome.
recap email, I put it in there. It's a lot of, 'cause I wanted to get lost. So the franchise lawyer, Kashane, BOLD program, I put the educational stuff in there as well. So I put it in there, the email. I do want to say before Amina jumps that she did leave this part out because again, she's humble. You was like the first deal. You set the tone for the
That's
BOLD.
true.
So let me pop her collar because she's going to jump in a minute. So
That's true.
typically when Black people do hotels, when we buy hotels, we start off with limited service, economy service, they're smaller, right? And that's what is expected from us, from our community.
That's what I did at first.
Yeah, but what Amina did, or they expect that we don't even close, so I'm just gonna be honest.
No, that's
So
true.
what Amina did, AJ Investments did, not only were they the first BOLD deal for Wyndham, they were a full service hotel. So not only did they come through swinging. So that's why they were able to, I'm sure it helped with the negotiation.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because we're not coming in with the La Quinta, we're not coming in with the Microtel, no shade on those brands, but we're coming in at a
Meeting
convert
room, bar, yeah.
to a signature, your signature brand, which is the Wyndham. Okay. And we are your first program. And not only did they set the bar for Wyndham, which allowed for other folks, Black folks, to get into hotel ownership, Lafayette comes in and they launched $100 million fund, all because of this one deal. Okay. All because of this one deal.
Amina, trailblazer.
Trailblazer. And then this Black is Black deal. The ownership group Black, the investors 97% Black, the management company who operates the day-to-day operation, the hotel broker who helped find the deal Black, the crowdfunding platform that was used to help raise some of the capital Black, and then she was a part of the first hotel to come through a Black-owned program to increase Black hotel owners for Wyndham. So yeah, breaking ceilings and
Yes, look at God, Shirley.
for you all. Okay, look at God.
Thank you.
Look at God.
I forgot about the fun. I remember the news broke publicly during our investor retreat in Lake Charles. So they were very happy.
All right, I'll be booking at Wyndham when I travel.
Yes, Lake Charles, come visit us. Our rebranded restaurant's about to open. It's called Renaissance. it was voted on by our investors, so those are on the call. It's opening soon. They're looking, I think.
Renaissance, is
Awesome.
Beyonce, because is it something to do with Beyonce? No. Okay.
Actually, Aquania's dad had that name
Oh,
submitted.
okay.
name. And then we picked like the top 3 names, and all the investors voted on them, and that one won.
See how y'all include, a lot of folks don't do that. They don't include what the investors think. They just get an email and be like, this is the name of it.
That's true.
No. But I know we have to go. But Amina, can you let folks know how they can find you, how they can connect with you?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn as Amina. I think it's Gilliard James. It might be James. You can also go, I'm putting our hotel
You put it in the chat. Okay.
in the chat, duke-ventures.com.
Okay.
And then I'm putting my website in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, hit me up. We want people to learn. That's why we include, even though, it seems nominal having people vote on a restaurant name. We like for people to learn, and it is a process of rebranding and converting and starting everything anew. So
I'm putting my LinkedIn in the
I'm about to say, and then Dr. V, how can folks connect? Oh, you put it there. Okay. How can
Yeah,
folks connect with you?
connect with Dr.
yeah,
V.
that's my LinkedIn, and then I'll also put the New La Villa.
And that's how people can, because people were asking about your blog. So I put it in the chat early, but I will go ahead and add it again. That's awesome. That way people can connect. They wanted to read your
Okay,
blog.
yeah. So they can do the page and then the blog.
I got you on Andrea and Lucinda. Okay.
Okay, either of those
Thanks for having me.
will work.
you.
And
Thank
to download the chat as well, Devon. I think someone messaged me maybe a
I
while
can't
back.
see your
I don't see it
messages.
now.
I can't see your messages. I only can see mine.
Oh, whoever messaged me, just send me an email at let me just put my direct email.
And go read the article, y'all.
I need to get a copy so you can sign it. I need a signed copy.
I'm not signing.
Yeah, and I want to share it on LinkedIn. So I need to do a series, New Fortunes or something.
Yeah, why can't I get an autographed copy? Like, I don't understand what the issue is.
I'm gonna have Joshua sign it for you.
Okay, that's better. Okay. Well, no, thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. V. Thank you so much, Amina. This has just been an amazing. I hope that you all learned a lot. I hope that you felt inspired and empowered. As a great way to end Women's History Month. It shouldn't just be one month, it should be every day. So we thank you all. And I thank you all for being our women founders on Vesterr, our women funders. So thank you so much. And you all have an amazing evening. And yes, this is being recorded and everyone will get a copy of the recording.
Thank you, Devon.
Thank you all.
Appreciate you. Thank you all.
Thank y'all for taking time.
Nice to
This
meet
was
you, Dr.
great.
V.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you as
Bye,
well.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.